Gets this one in the air to right center. Back goes Gonzalez to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Daniel Vogelbach strikes a two-run homer to get the Mets on the board.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Shea Station podcast. It is Thursday, August 25th. The Mets have just gotten dusted out of Yankee Stadium. Not swept. It's only 2 games. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jack, a.k.a. Jolly Olive. Joining me from Ohio is my guy, Jerry Belevins. Jerry, how you doing today, my man?
I'm good. It is a sweep, though. Even though it's only 2. I don't count it either. But we did get dusted up, though. That's for sure.
It only counts when we do it. If we take the 2 games, then it's a sweep. That's just how the rule works.
Hey, I'm for it.
Yeah, back-to-back 4-2 losses. I was at game 2. Incredibly frustrating game to watch. The Mets had 13 at-bats with runners in scoring position. They failed to convert many, many times. Pretty tough Subway Series, but I guess it's kind of fitting because we took the first 2, so the Yankees take the second 2. Kind of sets up the Subway Series World Series a little bit more now that we're, even keel 500. Put the stakes there.
That's definitely one way to look at it.
That's how I'm rationalizing it in my brain.
I'll tell you, I don't think this off day has been more needed by this team in a while. So I'm sure we're excited to have that off day and ready to get back to work.
I believe they played, 27 games in 26 days or something like that?
I think that's exactly right, because that's the number that popped into my head.
It's got to be right.
That's a lot. Plus, it's August. August is the dog days.
Yeah.
It's a tough time of year, but this was what could have been planting a flag into New York City for the Mets. Instead, we got a lot of mixed, weird stuff. It was DeGrom getting pushed back, which is never a great sign, but it's not worrisome to me. And then we lost 2 games.
Yeah. And it was so peculiar after the great Sunday game where the bats really came alive. They made 3 comebacks, scored 10 runs, and then they just went quiet against what you really consider the bottom part of the Yankees rotation. We're going to go through it kind of quickly because, it's kind of a dud, not too much great Met stuff to recall here, but we also have a fun listener mailbag today. So you guys asked us a lot of questions.
That's what I'm excited about. We're going to get Twitter. To a lot of Twitter comments. So that's good. I'm going to let you control all of that because you're the captain of this ship.
I'll be
you're the captain now. So
I am the captain now.
Even though you're rocking a Baltimore Orioles hat, which
I'm I got the Shea Station shirt though.
So me too. I put my Shea Station shirt on today.
Jomboy Media.
And I got the mug, but I do like the Orioles hat. I appreciate it.
I'm a part-time Orioles fan now. Ever since I went to Camden Yards, absolutely loved it.
Oh, it's beautiful. Here's my theory about some baseball teams that share regional baseball teams.
Okay.
The New York Mets, the Oakland Athletics, the Chicago White Sox, and the Baltimore Orioles are all the blue-collar, hardworking brother or sister to the shining, beacon on the other side.
And that would be Giants, Cubs, Yankees.
The Giants, the Cubs, the Yankees, and the Baltimore and the Nationals a little bit of a stretch.
Sure.
But definitely Orioles are like blue collar,
No, I like that a lot. And I feel like there's some sense of unity among those teams. I feel that with the Orioles, especially because they're having this great season. A lot of Orioles fans in the office, actually, believe it or not.
There are.
And you've made me a partial A's fan for sure. Just through.
Well, I appreciate that.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah, man. It's they're tough right now. It's tough to be an A's fan at any point.
You
today.
And Peter were sounding off in that group chat. I just read it this morning.
Yeah, we were tearing up the A's and the Pirates.
Peter, you see Peter's tweet about the Pirates yesterday?
Yeah,
that was nasty.
Proud of him.
That was nasty.
Just coming out swinging, Peter.
Peter's gotten, ever since the calendar turned to August, he's changed.
We were in the office and Peter Moylan attacked us for no reason, unprovoked. Like,
it was insane.
He was like, his podcast partner, Kelsey Winger, was a little bit late getting set up, and he's like, "Hey, Matty Mass, he brought the laptop over to talk to us and just immediately attacked us like he was this, futuristic, I was like, oh, I'm excited. He wants to say hi. No, he's like, what are you guys doing? Like, why are you so terrible? I was like, Peter, why are you so angry?
And Maddie had no idea what was going on. Maddie thought it was good intentions. He brought us in, and then
I think watching the Pirates play baseball put him in a bad mood.
So. I think so. I think quite literally it did.
I don't blame him.
All right, let's get into these recaps.
Let's get into it.
Let's absolutely speed through them because I don't want to recall these games. They're brutal. All right, game one. That's my game as always. I haven't had a game one win in what seems like 2 weeks, but
it's such a tough season.
I know. It's such a hard life for me. Marte, he grounds into a first inning ending double play to erase Nimmo's leadoff hit by pitch. The Yankees, who were slumping going into the series, they scratched out a win against the Jays, but were losers of 3 of 4. They got an early run on a sacrifice fly with a close play at the plate. A nice throw by Marte, just missed Benintendi on a good slide. Yeah, that was big for the Yankees because they haven't been scoring a lot of runs recently, so getting that first inning run was pretty big. And then after Scherzer struck him out in the first inning, Aaron Judge finally gets to Max Scherzer with a third inning solo home run, catches that fastball. The Mets go 8 up, 8 down against Domingo Germán through the fourth inning. He was dealing a little bit, a lot of short at-bats for the Mets, just kind of hitting into a lot of hard outs as well. In the fourth, Nimmo and Lindor both singled with 1 out, but Alonso hits into an inning-ending double play. You're going to see a lot of that in this series, just a lot of rallies kind of killed by poorly timed double plays. Later on in the fifth, IKF and Benintendi trade fifth inning doubles. They get another run. It's 3-0 Yanks. James McCann, who kind of had a brutal at-bat in the third inning, I believe, just went down on 3 pitches on a bad slider. He comes back. He works a 13-pitch at-bat for a single. Great at-bat by him, but he gets stranded in the sixth. Germán is still cruising through the seventh. He's got 1 out. He gets Alonso to pop up to second base, and then shades of Luis Castillo from all those years ago. The Yankees let that easy pop-up drop, and it kind of ruins Germán tonight because the very next pitch is Dan Vogelbach taking him deep to right center to make it a 1-run game. That knocks out Germán, and it gives life to the Mets, and maybe you're thinking, okay, maybe another comeback win for the Mets, file it under the category because we already have like 10 or 12 this year. But Max Scherzer has a pretty tough 7th inning. He ends this night with 6 2/3 innings, 4 earned runs, 7 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts on 101 pitches. The backbreaker was Benintendi's 2-out RBI single, and then Judge followed up with another single after that. That ended Scherzer's night. And the Mets really couldn't get anything going against Ron Marinaccio, who's been really, really good this season for the Yankees. He was up and down at AAA for some reason, but he's up now for good. And then Jonathan Loaisiga, who's also having a pretty tough year, but he looked like he returned to form a little bit against us. Much quiet night for the Mets. They get 1 at-bat with runners in scoring position. They go 4 for 30 as a team, and besides that home run, they had nothing cooking. They lose 4-2 in game 1.
Yeah, a lot there. Domingo Germán for the Yankees looked really good. It was the sharpest I've ever seen him. He had a really good curveball working. Vogelbach with a huge homer. That felt like a moment. He had some like pizzazz. He had a little pop pep to his step coming around. He had some, he's kind of like quick twitchy.
I think he's always like, he's jiving a little bit.
Yeah, but he was coming around first. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That felt like a moment, but Scherzer wasn't that sharp.
Yeah.
But he wasn't terrible. It wasn't, he still pitched pretty dang well. I mean, considering he didn't have his, he only had 3 strikeouts.
Which is, when I read that, I was like, did I mess that up?
That shows you the kind of stuff he had.
Yeah.
There was and Aaron Judge showed us who he is because Scherzer threw like not a terrible pitch. And in the first matchup, in the first Subway Series, Scherzer owned him with that slider.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was sitting on it. And so he tried to sneak a fastball. It was low, and he went down and got it, man. The guy can hit. Really outside of that, man, runners in scoring position, kind of the theme. So pretty
fun
ugly.
Game 2 for you. Fun game 2.
Game 2. That was game 2. We got Taijuan Walker coming back after the 2-inning, pulled himself because of back spasms. We were a little worried there. Going up against Frankie Montas, who has been absolutely terrible for those Yankees since he'd been traded over. Night and day from the A's version. The A's have him on the ropes in the first. The Mets have him on the ropes in the first, and this was the game to me. They strand those two runners. They have him on the ropes again in the second and don't get him in. He settles in quite nicely and returns to form a bit. And on the other end, Taijuan Walker was doing, pitching great, looking good. Very exciting to see him back. But he runs into a very similar situation than Max did in the first game. He runs into Aaron Judge. He throws a 3-2 pitch that's not a terrible pitch, but he decided to challenge him with the fastball out of his hand. He was not happy with it because Judge absolutely crushes it. And he was mad at himself, and he let the game speed up on him. And he talked about it. The home run threw him off balance a little bit because he's like, that's so dumb. And then he wanted to just try to get back into the dugout. And he ended up getting a couple of rallies together and walked in a run, which is very un-Taijuan-like. But he settled down, got the final out with the bases loaded, and he looked pretty good. He went 5 innings, gave up 2 earned runs. He goes the solo shot, and then he walked a guy in on 4 hits, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 81 pitches. But the Mets had a chance to win. Marte singles home Canna in the 5th. Then Beatty gets gunned out at home by Oswaldo Cabrera, who makes an absolutely perfect throw.
Yeah.
And then a good play at home to scoop and tag him out. I like the send there. McNeil knocks Montas out in the 6th with a game-tying double to bring home Pete Alonso. That makes 16 out of 20 career games against the Yankees that Jeff McNeil has hit safely. But Joely Rodriguez comes in, gives up the insurance run in the 7th. We got singles from Oswaldo, Trevino, and Benintendi to make it 3-2. Ottavino comes in and gets a 2-out RBI single to Judge on a backup slider. He gets Glaber to fly out with the bases loaded to end the jam. The Mets get 2 on with nobody out in the 8th. Felt like a little rally there. But a huge double play, 2 huge double plays on the day. It was a Vogelback double play and a Nito double play, where they were both the slowest humans on the planet. It was the slowest double play turn I've ever seen. But the Yankees got a really good performance by Clark Schmidt coming out of the bullpen. He goes 3 strong, tries to close it out in the 9th. The Mets rally a little bit, and Wandy comes in, and against the hot Lindor, Wandy made perfect pitches. I was very impressed with Wandy coming in like that. He gets a slider for a strike that's borderline inside to Lindor, so they called it a strike. Beautiful. He backfoots one that Lindor swings over. Lindor takes one, and then he throws a nasty changeup away that Lindor somehow fouls off, and then Lindor gets another changeup and pops it up to center. I don't know how Lindor fouled those pitches off and then put that one into play, because I was very impressed with Wandy there. But the Mets go 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position, hit into 2 slow motion, back-breaking double plays. Vogie, Lindor, Canna, Marte, and McNeil all leave runners on with 2 outs. A tough loss for the Mets. They lose 4-2, and this one was handed to them on a platter. And much like the game against Philly, where Bailey Falter wanted to give the game away in the first, they let Frankie Montas out of the first and second, and they lose.
Yeah, I mean, great recap as always. Game 1 kind of felt like we got outplayed a little bit. I think the bloop and the blast let us back into the game and made it closer than it should have been. This was a game that was incredibly winnable for the Mets, and it was probably my least favorite game I've attended this year, even though the crowd was electric. I had a great time with my friends. It was just a bummer of the game. So many rallies. The Vogelback, I know Vogelback's playing with kind of a tight hammy right now. He's playing through it. But man, he did not get down that line well.
Get off the field for me. Get off the field. If you're not able to run that ball out, Nito's just slow.
Yeah, we know
he's
that.
A catcher.
That's out. Yeah.
He's a catcher. But Vogelback, man, if you can't run, if you're about to hurt yourself that bad, get off the field, because like I could speed walk and could have ran that ball out.
I'd actually like to see that race. That'd be
dude.
good.
You have no idea. That's like a secret talent.
You got long strides.
I can do some really weird things. Like I haven't ridden a unicycle in probably 25 years, but I bet I could
you could do it.
Give me 3 minutes and I could probably do it. My neighbors had one when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And race walking. I am a Olympic level race walker.
It's a God-given talent right there. Really.
It's these hips, dude. It's the smooth sliding hips.
I liked what you said about Wandy. He looks really good. Lindor's foul ball that nearly was a double to tie the game crushed me. Took away my last breath as a fan, screaming in the stands. Clark Schmidt looked really good. Don't know why they had him buried in AAA.
He didn't look that good, to be honest.
Really?
He left some absolute hangers up there.
All right.
They swung at he did a great job.
Sure.
Like he did a great job, but I tip my cap to him. But the Mets, who if we're all seasoned, we destroy him.
Yeah.
Because he left some backup breakers right in the heart of the plate. And we decided to take and then swing at the other ones. Like hitting's hard.
Yeah.
He pitched well. His line was awesome. He saved them because they had nobody in their bullpen.
Right. I think it would have been Chapman.
It would have been Chapman. And they tried, they stretched him. He 2 outs in the ninth. He cruised through the whole, he needed one more out to get to finish the game. Hold on a sec. Okay, I heard a screaming child. I want to make sure it wasn't screaming tears.
It's actually a ghost.
But it's probably okay. We'll keep that in. That's real parenting. My mom and my brother up watching the boys. My wife's actually in New York right now. We passed each other in the air.
What's she doing there without you?
So she's doing a thing that it started. She's called Prom Series.
Oh, okay.
And Michael Conforto's wife, Cabernet, Daniel Murphy's wife, Tori, Brandon Nemo's wife, Chelsea, and they all get together and they give some underprivileged girls, they doll them up, get them dresses, get them ready for a prom, that kind of thing. Awesome. It's kind of expanded. That's how it started. It's bigger than that now, but that's what they're doing. She'll be back tomorrow, but she's been in New York. I left at 10 a.m. She left at 10 a.m. and we passed each other in the air.
That's extremely sweet. I really like that. Pretty cool.
When we waved.
You guys saw each other. Yeah, you guys actually were like, right. That's safe, right? Planes can do that. It's fully normal, actually. These Apple choices are kind of brutal.
I'll tell you what.
Great.
I think I'm going to punt.
You think you're going to punt?
Yeah, I don't think anybody deserves an apple. Like, we don't have to give out an apple.
Yeah, you know what? There's no contract obligation.
Yeah.
Right? We're not. It's
I want to give one, like, to Lindor, who has been so good.
Yeah.
Every game he gets knocks. But I'm not going to give one because that was crappy.
Yeah. Just a crappy 2-game set in the Bronx.
Yeah, that was gross. Nobody deserves anything.
When's the last time you were
There's no participation trophies for apples here.
No, sir. These are fresh apples. We only give them away to deserving people. Right? When was the last time you've been to Yankee Stadium, by the way? Has it been a while?
2018, probably.
Okay, so it's been a little bit for you.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how difficult it is to get into that stadium. My drive there.
You mean when you're there to get
as an attendee? Yes.
Never been as an attendee. I get, police
special
escorts.
Privilege,
yeah. And when you're with the team, even though I would take the train up, I'd sneak in, use my ID through the security. So I never really had an issue for there. It's difficult.
People were breaking down barricades. They were climbing over fences just to
Why? Because it was slow moving getting into the stadium.
It was bottlenecking getting into the physical line of going up and down the gates. People couldn't even get into that line because there were so many barricades up, to the point that people were just taking the barricades down and sort of just charging the gate. It was pretty intense, but it was kind of fun, actually. A little bit. We broke the rule. It's not counting as breaking the rules if everybody else does it. That's my philosophy there. So is that the January 6th approach that you're talking about? Don't put that in quotations, actually. Never mind.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Jack, bleep out the whole thing. Bleep out the whole thing.
We have derailed, by the way. We're all.
What happens when we lose to the Yankees?
Let's bring it back here. Do you want me to do the preview?
You know what? Before you do a preview, Jerry, can I tell you who it's brought to you by?
Hey, you almost needed
I
some of
almost
this.
need it because I think people are going to come after me, and I'm going to need a lawyer for my quotes for what I say in the media. And I'm going to hire Siegel Law Firm. Get your legal from Siegel, guys. They've been great to us. We love Siegel Law Firm here, the New York City-based personal injury and civil rights law firm. I'm injured because of my comments, and that's obvious. They truly care about their clients, though, regardless of what they say. So they care about me. They have what they like to call a Jerry Blevins type approach, where their primary concern is extreme client attention. I see Jerry Maguire every time. I see Jerry Blevins in my brain every
Well,
time.
we're very similar.
It's the
Very,
same
yeah.
thing.
Yep.
There's a misconception that you cannot afford a lawyer. It's not true. There's no cost to consult with Siegel Law Firm and no out-of-pocket costs when they handle your case. You don't pay a dime, a penny, a nickel until they recover for you, and then you share that dime, penny, nickel with them in that recovery. There's nothing to lose. Don't disqualify yourself from a case for no reason. It's always worth a call to Siegel Law Firm. Their number is 646-810-3337, or visit them at siegel-lawfirm.com to get the legal support that you need. That's siegel-lawfirm.com. And Jerry, we got a nice, easy 4-gamer with the lowly Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I think that's the key. The Mets are looking to kind of right the ship. They've had a rough go of it. It's been a very, very tough portion of their schedule. The Braves are a game and a half breathing down the Mets' necks.
Gosh.
They have had a pretty easy go of it, minus us and the Astros, but they showed what they can do against both.
Yep.
They're a very good team. But this is the stretch, outside of the Dodgers, we have a good run. But this is game 1 of a 4-game set. There's a little guy pitching named Jacob deGrom. Have you ever heard of him?
Nope.
He's pitching off extra rest because he knew you were coming to the game and said, I don't want to pitch for Jolly. He decided to get a couple of days extra rest, which I think is smart considering who that guy is. Game 1, he's 2-1 with a 2.31 ERA going up against Ryan Feltner, who exactly 2-4 with a 5.88 ERA. No Met has ever faced Feltner before because you've never heard of him. But Randall Grichuk has faced Jacob deGrom before. He is one of the few guys in this world can say, kind of own him. 4 for 11 with 2 bombs off of deGrom.
Damn.
Yes, I know Jacob deGrom knows that, and he will be challenging him. That'll be a fun little matchup to watch. He's versus Colorado in his career, pretty darn good. 5-1 in 61 in the 3rd innings pitched. He's got a 1.17 ERA and a 0.77 WHIP. That
Very
is
nice.
crazy ridiculous, but also in line with just deGrom.
Yeah.
That is game 1. Game number 2, Chris Bassett. 11-7 with a 3.26 ERA going up against somebody I do know. Chad Kuhl, 6-7 with a 5.16, had a little bit of a slide. He's dealing with some concussion issues, which is never fun. I wish him all the best with that brain activity. But Bassett this August has been secretly spectacular. He's 4-0 in 26 innings pitched. He has only given up 2 earned runs, which is a nice 0.69 ERA. He's got 21 strikeouts to 4 walks in that span. That is game number 2. Game number 3, David Peterson, 6-4 with a 3.44 ERA, making his 2nd consecutive start since the Cookie Carrasco injury, and Taiwan, I guess, if you want to go there, going up against Kyle Friedland. I also know you, Kyle Friedland. He's 7-8 with a 4.93. In his career against Darren Ruff, Darren Ruff is 3 for 12 with a homer off of him. Peterson has made 2 August starts. He's 1-1. You got 10 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 11 Ks, 5 walks. Been pretty good. Hasn't had a chance to extend it. This might be his shot, depending on if the offense gives him some breathing room. I would like to see Buck let him slide.
Yeah.
But Kyle Freeland on the other side of the rubber is last 3 starts, 16 2/3, 14 earned runs, 10 Ks, 6 walks. That's not very good. That is game number 3. Game number 4, this guy named Mad Max Scherzer coming off his start in New York against the Yankees. He's 9-3 with a 2.33 ERA. He's going up against Herman Marquez, another Herman, battle of German guys. 6-10 with a 5.22 this season for Herman. After a dominant 8-stretch start, Scherzer has hit a skid. A skid? Yes, a skid. He's 2 starts. He's 13 innings pitched at a whopping 8 earned runs, only 11 Ks and 4 walks. I think he'll be fine. But Marquez has gone 6+ innings in every start since July. He's 55 2/3 innings and a 4.2 ERA and a 7.77. That's a good number in Vegas. OPS against, which is, decent. He's doing pretty good. That is your 4-game set versus the Colorado Rockies. I hope they can't wear their City Connect because they're not in their city, but I actually do like their City Connect.
Yeah, I like the green too. It took me a little bit to warm up to it, but I like it now.
Awesome. Hey, man, it's like fun stuff. But that's our 4-game set right there. That's a 4-game set up to sweep.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta get fat. We gotta get fat this weekend.
I can't get fat.
All right. I know you can. I can manage to get fat. All right. It's pretty easy for me, believe it or not.
It's gonna catch up to me at some point.
Yeah, but you've had a pretty good go of it, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm married. I've got kids now. I'm just gonna grow a belly.
Yeah, you need a dad gut. Where's your dad gut? You don't have one. Are you a real dad?
What else do I need to be official dad?
I think that's it, actually.
The Air Monarchs?
Yeah, maybe that, actually. Yeah, I mean, the Braves are welcoming. Oh, no, they're going to St. Louis to face the Cardinals, who have opened up a huge lead in the NL Central. They've been hot. And the Mets, they haven't played Colorado since April, I believe. It's been a while since we went there. I think when we went there, it snowed, so we missed the first game. That was fun. But the Mets, they have DeGrom, they have Bassett, and they have Scherzer all going in a set, which means you'd love to take all of those games. And hopefully you see a nice outing from Peterson. Peterson didn't have his sharpest stuff in Philly, but I'm hoping, he'll get his feet under him a little bit this time.
Do you read some of your notables? Go through those because there's some really good pieces in there.
Sure, absolutely. Well, the biggest one for me is the Mets having the easiest schedule for the remainder of the season.
I kind of brushed up on it, but I see here in the notes that you dive.
Like this is pulled from Tim Healy on Twitter, I believe. So shout out to Tim, he's awesome. But
he is awesome.
I don't love to be like, oh, this schedule's easy, we should win all these games. But the Mets have far and away the easiest strength of schedule of any MLB team heading into the final month. It's a 446 opponents winning percentage, which means, they're losing, I believe,
sub 500
sub 500 team, losing 11 to 20 games. The Braves are not far behind at 477. That's 23rd overall, but the Braves, sprinkled in their September schedule, have a series with the Giants, have a series with the Mariners, have two series with the Phillies. So it's not completely easy. Whereas the Mets, their only real challenge coming up is our next set with the Dodgers. And after that, it's smooth sailing until you face the Braves again. So the Mets have a really big opportunity to gain some ground or just hopefully keep pace and maintain this small lead that we have. We mentioned Vogelbach playing through some hamstring discomfort. Also, we didn't get a chance to do it because kind of these games were a dud. But Seth Lugo is having a pretty incredible second half. I think very quietly for the Mets because Otto's been great and Diaz has been Diaz. Seth Lugo has returned to form after kind of a shaky May, has a 1.98 ERA in the second half. Hitters are batting just 200 against him.
He looks fantastic. He's throwing the heck out of the ball. His curveball is consistent and sharp. He has solidified himself. Also, Trevor May, he only faced one batter, but it was a big one, and he looked really good. He put the ball where he wanted to. It had that zip on it. I think he touched 97. That's a positive sign. He's got some time to lock himself in. We're going to need Trevor May.
Yeah.
That's what our biggest weakness is slotted in behind Edwin Diaz. That's where we're going to be, pressed the most. The teams are going to want to try to get to our relievers.
I think I'm hesitant to call Ottavino the eighth inning guy just because Buck has figured out that he's been really good with inherited runners. So it's kind of, you need to use Otto when that situation.
But he has been consistently the most reliable of the guys in the back. But Lugo's back and he looks great.
And if just one of these other guys, if it's McGill when he comes back,
Joely had a good run, and then he's looked kind of shaky.
I know. It's just there's never a consistent
that's the hard
month out of these guys. Drew's coming back, so it might be him. Drew's playing with some injuries before
he
went down.
We're gonna need Drew Smith to step in and strike some fools out like he has been.
Yeah.
He's gonna be counted upon. So there's two. This is what I kind of always talk about being a reliever.
Sure.
There's two abilities that you need and that make you a great reliever. And these are two things that I took to heart. Availability, which is just being ready for that phone to ring, being able to answer that phone on a day-to-day basis. When they call your name, be ready every day. And the other one is reliability. And that is, even though you're not Edwin Diaz, give a consistent performance. You're going to get beat sometimes, but as long as you're sharp and your stuff looks good and you're consistent, you're reliable because the manager knows what you're going to get. The fans understand when you come into a ball game, it's not a coin flip on if you're going to walk the bases loaded, you're going to leave balls over the middle.
Right.
Again, sometimes you're going to get beat, but those are the two best abilities of a reliever: availability and reliability. And that's the one thing, the big one that a lot of these guys don't have is reliability. It's been this.
Yeah.
So that's been tough, but we've got Lugo on the way up. We got May behind him, kind of on his way up, dealing with health. And Ottavino's been the guy because, he's been great.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned, so I loved what you said, first of all. And it's been weird because a lot of these guys have been available. We've gotten remarkably healthy seasons out of our bullpen outside of Drew Smith, basically.
Mhm.
I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head.
Tommy Hunter,
Tommy
who
Hunter,
was late
right.
showing, but he's,
Right.
he's dealing with, I thought he would be back by now. I have to see
I think
what's
he's
going
on a similar timeline to Drew, if I'm not mistaken. But it's so interesting that we got Ottavino, I think, like maybe a week before spring training kicked in, because I remember we slotted in his PPP pretty late, got him on like a 1 year, $4 million deal, and he's been well worth of that price, way above it as well. Just a nice, like, key last minute signing by the Mets, because I don't know where this bullpen would be without Adam Ottavino, bridging the gap between the middle and the Edwin Diaz. So
Adam Ottavino.
Adam out the league.
He said, I don't know where the bullpen will be without Adam Ottavino.
Try saying it 5 times fast, quick.
No, I'm gonna pass. Yeah. A couple more notes that you had. I think that's a good talk. Nito, the best bunter I've ever seen, maybe.
Apparently, people got mad that we talked about that on Twitter. Believe it or not.
What do you mean?
Our socials guy Ryan put out a tweet that Nito leads in sack bunts, and a lot of people were like, "This isn't a good thing."
Why is that not a good thing? I mean,
I don't know.
He's not JT Real Muto, but if you're, you got to play small ball on occasion. People
don't like small ball.
He's hitting 300. I don't want to hear about it. That's a positive, man. Yeah. Especially against, when he was playing the Yankees and he's got Rizzo sprinting into his face and he hits a slider and he was able to move it into a position to still advance the runners. That's impressive.
He's also just not the guy I would pick out to lead the league in sacrifice bunts. I think it's interesting.
I agree, especially since he wasn't an everyday player kind of guy. No. But it's know your role, man. Know what your abilities and help the team any way you can, and that's impressive.
Jerry, do you think you're ready for some questions from our audience?
Let's hit it. I'm ready.
Let's freaking do it, man. All right. So the most frequent. So we posted like an hour ago, and we got a crazy amount of responses. So we're not going to be able to get to everybody, unfortunately. But thank you guys for asking questions. The most common one I got, and it's one I told you about before the show, because we got to know, why isn't Jerry Blevins on the Old Timers Day roster? What's going on?
I didn't get invited. I don't know why.
Got lost in the mail? Like what
I don't know. Man? I don't know. I think it's Jay Horowitz who's in charge. I love Jay. He's the alumni guy. He set up all this. I never got the call. I would have gladly been a part of it, but I didn't make the cut. I guess I'm not good enough or much. I don't know. But
I don't know.
I know Jay. I know for a fact that there's a lot of people mad at Jay Horowitz. I guarantee you he's getting some like WTF sent his way. I'm not going to pile onto it, but next time I see him, I'll be like, what the hell, Jay?
Yeah, man. It's warranted.
So, I don't know. I would have loved to have been a part of it. I guess. I don't know.
I mean, Blevins versus Daniel Murphy again with that curveball, the classic Mets Nationals days in 2016 would have been kind of hype.
I prefer the United Daniel Murphy and Jerry Blevins. We went to the World Series, even though I had a perfect season in 7 innings there. Short lived, but
that one came from.
I don't know, man. I would have loved to have been a part of it, but I didn't get the invite.
That's right.
And I'm not going to lobby for myself. I'm not.
No, you can't do that.
I'm not going to do that. I know that would be gross.
All right, let's get into some more Mets focused ones. You had your time in the light, Jerry. We got to move on. Right, I'm sorry.
Deal.
This one's pretty interesting. It comes from Sean at so-called Sean on Twitter, and it's something I haven't really thought about, just because it's been kind of a whirlwind couple weeks. What do you think Brett Baty's role will become on the team after Escobar and Guillorme come back? Does he have a role? Would he make the postseason roster? There's a lot of variables there, so I'm curious.
Yeah, I think he goes back to AAA. I think this is a great run. He had a chance to get his feet wet, fill in, kind of showcase what he got, get a taste of what it's like to be in the big leagues. And most importantly, for a young guy at 22 years old, a a high prospect like that, he got to play. You can't just come up and sit on the bench. That's not helping your career. That's not your advancing your skills. He needs at bats. He needs ground balls. We saw some polished approach, but he's susceptible to some things. We saw defensively that he's good, but he needs some more reps, and so he's not on the roster for me in the postseason. But I really was impressed with what I've seen so far. He got a good taste of the big leagues, and go back down and keep getting at bats.
Yeah, I think I wholeheartedly agree there. I think the scouting report on the defense was pretty accurate. It's solid at times and shaky at other times, and that's perfectly normal for a really young kid. And he got his moments too, which was awesome. A big 2-run single in Philly, he had the home run in Atlanta. I think that's pretty much anything you can ask for a guy that had to kind of step up for a couple weeks. But I don't think he's ready, and I think he's certainly capable of better in the future. He needs a little bit more time developing. But lightning in a bottle.
You got to know what it feels like. So next time you get called up, it won't be, the bright lights too much. And so you'll be able to get settled in and go about your business. So it was a great experience for him. That was perfect.
This one's from DYK Sauce on Instagram. If you're Buck Showalter, would you ever consider moving Nimmo out of the leadoff spot because he's either slumping or has not been drawing as many walks?
At this point, no.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he like completely slumps and you have to bench him, you know what I mean? If he's not hitting at all, that's a different story. But as long as he's still got a polished approach, I think I let him play, man. The team has been winning. He's been every time he's in there, he's leading off. So it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. Let him play.
Yeah,
I would like to see him draw more walks, but also, I'm fine. I'm fine with how he's been playing. The Mets have been scoring in the first inning like a billion times. Probably, I have no data. I haven't looked it up, but I feel like they have to lead all baseball in like runs in the first inning.
I can probably find that for you, but I think I agree. We talked a little bit in the preseason about potentially Marte maybe leading off and Marte playing center, and obviously the Mets kind of had a plan there. And it's worked completely well. I mean, Nimmo did have a kind of a tough July-August swing, but it looks like he's sort of finding his stroke again. So I don't think there's too much reason to change that there. This one comes from, and I liked this one a lot. If I can find it, I just saw it. I don't know where it went, and I want to get this guy's name. But he did ask us. Once I find his name, I'll read it out. Say the Mets win their division, everything goes well. We keep the Braves behind us, and we get the first round bye. We're currently slated to play the winner of a Padres and Cardinals set. Who would you prefer to be the opponent in the NLDS out of those two teams?
Who would I prefer?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Oh,
that's out of your control.
That's a player answer. That's a player answer.
It's stuff that you can't worry about. You try to win your division, and if you don't, then you have an opponent. So you don't worry about the other teams as a player. I mean, if I had to choose, which I wouldn't, we're not picking seeds. I would take the Cardinals.
Interesting.
Simply because I don't want to have to face, Joe Musgrove and Manaea and Snell. I'd rather face whoever's going to be pitching for the Cardinals. I don't even know. Wainwright, he's been good. Yes.
Waino, Jack
Flaherty's not injured. Flaherty's done.
Like Monty, he's over
Jordan Montgomery, maybe. I don't know. But I'd rather, starting pitchings. That's why we have Scherzer and DeGrom. So I guess if I had to choose there, but bottom line is I'm not worried about the playoff matchups yet.
Gotcha. I like that. I kind of expected that. You're a renowned competitor. Makes sense. I think I'm probably in the Padres boat just because they have that heart of the order that's pretty tough and they have great starting pitching. But it's sort of like I think the Mets kind of have a chip on their shoulders. Padres are one of the few teams that were actually able to beat us this year in both sets. We went 2-4 against them. And I think that if I'm a Mets player, I'm kind of hungry to get one more crack at them and beat them when it matters the most. And that came from RJ Schmidt 18 on Instagram. So thank you to him for that question. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, this is a good one as well. So Mets return to health. They got everybody in the rotation healthy. Everyone's feeling good. Taiwan's back. Cookie's back. Perfect world. You have game 1 through 3. You have DeGrom, Scherzer, and Bassett. and then game 4 rolls around. Say that you can't throw either of the top 2 guys on short rest. Who are you giving the ball to? Carlos Carrasco or Taijuan Walker?
I don't think it's that simple. I think it's David Peterson's in the conversation too, as a lefty. I really like what I've seen from Peterson.
Okay.
You're hoping for 5 solid innings out of that 4th spot, right?
Yeah.
Taijuan has carried our rotation at times, our team. He's been great. But if he's given up homers, that's tough. Cookie Carrasco has been kind of a little bit of up and down, but he's pitched great. And I like what I've seen out of him. And he's got an incredible track record in the postseason. So if he's sharp, I like going to him. But if it's like a Dodgers lefty heavy lineup, I don't mind having Peterson come in, face the lefties. He's got that slider to righties too that's been dominant. I think I like all 3 of our options if you have to go 4 deep.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like the stage might be a little big for Peterson. I mean, it's a tall task. And I definitely think that Peterson should be involved in some capacity on this postseason roster. I think he's earned it. I think he's a valuable lefty to have there. But I just think I love playoff experience. And I know there's no quantifiable science to being, saying if this guy's pitched in the playoffs before, he gives you a much better shot. But Cookie's pitched in the World Series. He pitched into deep playoff runs in Cleveland, and it's been a while since he's been back there for sure. But I think I prefer the experience over everything else, even if Taijuan does finish this year strong.
I don't hate that answer. I think it's a great approach because it's different in the playoffs. Your routine's different because you have a lot more demands from media, and your time's different, and the anthem is a little bit longer. Everything is just different. And so if you've been there before, just like we talked about with Beatty, like now he knows what it's like.
Yeah.
It helps because you can prep for it mentally. There's no question marks. I like that. That's not a wrong answer for me either.
I like that. This one comes from our very own Talking Baseball. They got in the mix, which I love.
Okay.
I
feel big time. Now I'm nervous.
Exactly. It's a verified response. Who are these guys? It's crazy. So Hollywood.
Number one podcast, number 1 baseball podcast in the world. So.
In your honest opinion, which team is better, the Mets or the Braves, and how close is it? Now we got to be careful here, right?
Yeah,
we got to be objective.
Which team is better?
Which team is better? I guess it's hard to say.
It's super close. It's super close. I think there's only
I mean, we can break it down by like sections of the roster if you want to do that.
Well, starting rotation is pretty close.
Yeah.
Because Max Fried is great. Charlie Morton has shown up and been nasty. So if he's back to form, we talked about experience. He's got tons of it in the playoffs. Soroka's coming back.
Yeah.
Strider is nasty, but I don't know if he's going to make it there. Yeah, man, they're good, but it's not Scherzer and DeGrom and Bassett.
Yeah,
but it's comparable.
I think it's the closest thing out of not only National League teams, but pretty much any MLB team.
Yeah, and then the lineups go. They're deep, man. They're deep, and they've got contributions all over the place. And the Mets are a different style of deep. They're comparable. I think I give slight edge to our rotation, slight edge to their lineup.
I think I agree with that.
And then their middle of their bullpen is significantly better than ours. But we have Edwin Diaz. Kenley Jansen has been great this year.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take Diaz.
Absolutely. I think I agree with everything you said, and maybe I would take the Mets defense over the Braves.
Even though their defense is really good.
Right. Like they're really extremely comparable teams, and it's such a hard question to answer.
Yeah, I don't know who's better. I'll tell you what, though, it comes down to me to starting pitching, and we have Scherzer DeGrom. So that would be the difference. But they're a real legit World Series contender. One of the elite teams. It's Braves, it's Mets, it's Dodgers, it's the Astros. And I don't know if the Yankees fit into there unless Garrett Cole rights the ship and
Right.
decides that he wants to be an ace.
I think that's what Plouffe said. I think Plouffe said he needs
Did
to
he?
be the stopper, the guy that, gets you a win every fifth day
And they're
if the
going to
Yankees have a
need Clay
shot.
Holmes. They're going to need Clay Holmes
Yeah.
to step back up. So, but it's really Braves, Mets, Dodgers, Astros for me.
Yeah.
Those are the,
I think it's one of those three teams versus the Astros. I would be
yeah.
surprised if it was anything else. I definitely think that, it's two answers for me. I think the Braves, there's a definitive argument that they have a more complete roster in terms of the length of their bullpen and the length of their lineup and the amount of starting pitching options that they have that, you could slot into pretty much any game and you'd feel comfortable. But if I'm walking into a 5-game set or a 7-game set, I still believe in our Mets just because of exactly what you said. I think starting pitching wins championships. And if everybody's healthy, I don't think any rotation touches this one. So that's
what I like about what our lineup does versus what the Braves lineup does. The Braves lineup has thump,
yeah,
up and down. But our lineup against Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer can carve those guys up. I don't think anyone can truly make it unscathed through our lineup when they're at their best.
Yeah.
Because they bring a different style, like a Jeff McNeil, like a Brandon Nimmo, these guys that put the ball in play. Mark Hanna, they're going to be polished. The Vogelback, these guys that put together ABs, they grind you. It's a style that's very good against the best pitchers in the game. I love the matchups, but
I like it too.
They're very good, man. They're so good.
Last one of the app. You done?
No, let's do a couple more. Let's zoom through a couple.
From @BrotherTiger, this one's for you specifically, Jerry. What's your favorite part of Northwest Ohio from one Northwestern Ohioan to another?
What's my favorite part besides, family and friends that I have here? The people are extremely great. I love the 4 seasons. I love fall and spring. So the weather right now is perfect. It's like 78 to 83 every day. A nice cool breeze. Could get hot. Football season starting, so you can see the excitement of the area because it's a big football town and state. It's just a fun, beautiful place, and I like. This is my favorite time of year. So it's nice to be home and around it.
I like the 4-season answer. I don't think I could ever live in a place where I don't get to have fall. The Jomboy Media office is a big fall office. We're huge proponents of the season, and I feel like it doesn't get enough love. When you're a kid, you hate September because it's school. But
fall in Northwest Ohio, you've got the changing of the leaves. You've got the swaying of the crops that you drive by. Like it's a beautiful time.
Are you like a pumpkin spice guy?
I'm not against it, but I don't really like it.
You don't go nuts for it.
I don't. No,
I got you.
Although I did put some pumpkin spice in my kids' pancakes yesterday.
Nice.
I'm normally like a dad cinnamon, and I grabbed the wrong spice rack because I'm 19 feet tall.
Sure.
And my wife puts all the spice underneath, so I just like reached into where I thought it was, and it was pumpkin spice. I was like, you know what the hell? And they liked it. So
hey, happy little accident. I like that a lot for you. Let's see. I found another good one before. Oh, this one's tough.
Okay.
All right. I believe postseason rosters are 26 guys. I hope I'm not mistaken by that. So let's say that Mets have 9 everyday position players. They got 5 on the bench, 5 in the rotation, and that leaves you with 7 spots in your Mets bullpen. Who is making the cut for your Mets bullpen? Because there's a lot of choices.
So Diaz, Ottavino, Trevor
Lugo.
May, Seth Lugo. That's locked. Drew Smith, if he's healthy.
He is.
You need a punch out. You need a punch out. Tyler McGill is a wild card. And then if Peterson's not in the rotation, it's between this is tough. It's between Peterson and Tommy Hunter for me. Because Tommy Hunter has experience, man. There's something to that. He's not going to throw for me. He's not going to throw in a tie game or we're up 1. But if we're down 1 or 2 and we want to save those back end guys, I love what Tommy Hunter brings to the plate. and he's not going to be intimidated by any situation, any hitter. He's got experience. He's got good stuff. I like that combo.
So I like your answer there. I'm going to tell you who gets left off in this world. All right. In this world, there's no Trevor Williams on the postseason roster. There's no
Correct.
Joely Rodriguez on the postseason roster.
Yep.
And there's no Michael Givens on the postseason roster.
I'm okay with that.
You're rolling.
Trevor's a tough one.
Yeah.
But what role is he going to serve that's great for you in the playoffs?
I think he's probably the only one I would switch things up on and maybe put in over Tommy Hunter, just because I don't know.
What about over Peterson? If it's Peterson,
Peterson's got to be there in some capacity.
Over Peterson.
Trevor. That's so tough. It really, I think the Mets are going to have a little bit of a conundrum with those two, because I think they're going to have to pick one. Right?
Trevor Williams or David Peterson?
Trevor Williams or David Peterson.
Who do you want? Who do you want? Like, look, it's a lot of it is swing and miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Trevor Williams throws tons of strike. He's been great. He's been absolutely a huge piece of this team. But in the playoffs, you got to be able to miss some barrels.
Yeah.
Like, you have to miss barrels.
Yeah. Peterson has 97 Ks in 83 innings. T-Will has 61 in 69 innings. So there's your point in case right there. Yeah, I think it might be Peterson for me then. I think you convinced me a little bit. And it's so interesting.
Yeah.
That the Mets trade bullpen acquisition might not even make the playoff roster. It's kind of tough. It's a little.
I mean, he can still right the ship and just dominate, but is that it? Or you got?
I got one last fun one.
Let's do it.
It's an age-old question. It's not too unique. It's from Ugin92 on Instagram. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
A
hot dog's a hot dog.
Hot dog is a hot dog.
It has its own.
We're not going
Shannon
category. And Skip here. We're not doing the long length.
Yeah, no. It's just not. It's if you call it a sandwich. I'm not going to argue against it, but it doesn't. It's not a sandwich.
It doesn't feel right to call it a sandwich.
No, but it is a beautiful food. Did you see? Did you see the hot dog straw?
I did see the hot dog straw.
That's weird, huh?
Our own Jack Doyle tried it. Said it was one of the worst things he had ever partaken. Didn't look good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, but I appreciate the ingenuity.
Yeah. You gotta respect it.
I'm not sure why.
Something I would never think of as a human being.
I've tasted some really weird beers that probably could use a little hot dog water to make it palatable, but
some IPAs.
Yeah, man. Good episode. Thank you guys so much for all the questions. I enjoyed it. That was nice.
We appreciate it.
We'll have to do it again, at some point.
Yeah, it brought some light into kind of a sad episode, But hopefully on Monday
a little bit of a downer, but yeah.
We haven't had a downer in a while. We need some adversity, honestly.
I think Jay Horowitz, if you guys want me to be in it, attack Jay Horowitz on Twitter.
Him. Be nice, but give him an earful.
Right? Let me see if he's still on Twitter. They had when he was our PR guy. Dude, Jay is hilarious, super funny. They made him get rid of it because his
there he is.
He doesn't follow me. How about that?
Wow, he doesn't follow you.
No wonder I didn't make the cut.
Holy moly, Jerry. He has got beef.
Yeah, at J_Horowitz PR. Let him know.
He does follow Talking Yanks, which is pretty interesting. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Guys, thank you. We'll see you Monday. Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.